Welcome everyone, Darth Oblivious back with you for another episode of Wretched Hive Recap. So what are we going to discuss this day? We're actually going to switch things up a little bit because we do have the main producer's live stream to discuss. And sometimes, usually I think, we discuss that after we discuss some forum posts, if we have forum posts to discuss in the Wretched Hive. But we're actually going to go through the live stream first in this upcoming segment, and then discuss some of the forum posts that we want to talk about or highlight afterwards, because as a matter of fact, one of them is the wrap-up to the live stream itself. So, we've got the producer's live stream coming up for May that we're going to see if there's anything that needs to be addressed, discussed, or, just generally reviewed. And then we'll pop right into the Wretched Hive and see what we can talk about there. But, just for completion's sake, I guess, or whatever, just to a little tease, I guess you could call it. What are we going to discuss after the producer's live stream? Well, let's see. We have a save SWTOR plan. We have, weapon tunings to discuss. And, of course, petition server transfers. And, of course, the May producer live stream wrap-up itself. So stay tuned. Producer live stream review coming up. And then, of course, we'll jump right back into this with our Wretched Hive recapping the recaps, I guess you could say.
We all fit in.
We're about to find out.
Hey,
we do fit in. We do.
We do fit in.
Well, I realized that
I'm trying to get my shirt up with Muscos.
Yeah, we set up a Republic bookends for. I'm too short to do this. Republic. I have to literally stand up. Okay.
Hey everybody!
Happy Star Wars Day for starters.
Yes. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th
As
be
I
with
promised our marketing person I would say out loud.
Welcome to the May producer live stream. I'm Eric Musco, the community manager.
I'm Ben Irving, producer for Star Wars: The Old Republic.
And I am Charles Boyd, creative lead for Star Wars: The Old Republic.
If you haven't joined in for a producer live stream before, basically we're going to talk a little bit about... I guess I should just go to the next slide.
Yeah.
I do this every time where I start describing how the stream works.
But look at this.
And then,
oh my god.
Wait, I guess I messed it up. That was my fault.
Alright.
There we go.
Well, let's talk about the agenda for today. So we're going to do a quick State of the Galaxy, address some of the big things happening in the community over the last week or so. We're going to review Chapter 13, Profit and Plunder. As we know, that went live for early access yesterday.
Yep.
Everyone else for full access will be tomorrow. We're going to give an update on the new subscriber rewards coming out in June. We have a whole heap of activity going on for May the 4th. Yep. So we're going to go through our Happy May the 4th promotion stuff. And then Charles will give you guys a quick tease and insight into Chapter 14, Mandalore the Avenger. And then finally, Musco will give us the wrap-up and then talk about the things he'll post in the forums.
You got it. And so if you...
Okay, first things first, something I wanted to address. So, we've got 30 minutes here, well, less than 30 minutes at this point in the stream. And we've already got, as usual, two subjects that are talking about the story chapters. Now, why would we have a producer live stream and then have story vlogs for the express purpose of one discussing the technical aspects of the game, which should discuss the technical aspects of the game, and the other dedicated to discussing the story? I think at this point, the producer's live stream would be more beneficial and more on point if the story stuff is just taken out. I mean, this is why we have story vlogs. This is stuff that can be done in the forums or in the vlogs about the story. Absolutely no need to have anything story related in the producer's live stream unless it's encompassing some technical aspects or addressing, as they will in the State of the Galaxy, addressing some concerns or something that is not just about the story itself, but addressing some other concerns, issues, technical aspects of each of these chapters. It's just a waste of time. Let's get on with the technical stuff. Let's get on with addressing the community's concerns, the community's questions. save the story stuff for a story vlog or just a blog in the forums, for God's sakes. Stop wasting the time. Stop wasting our time. Not everyone is interested in this subpar story. Although, again, as we'll see when we discuss some of the forum posts after this segment, I mean, yes, there are parts of the story that are great, but overall, the story is not that compelling, at least to me, at least to other people.
Who haven't joined in on a producer live stream before, they take about 30 minutes-ish. Just depends on how much stuff we have to talk about. And someone said they were going to play a drinking game and take a shot every time I said yup. So, yup.
Yep.
Does it count if we all say it?
I don't know. I totally said me, but I think it should. Okay.
All right.
So let's talk about some of the community topics. As you guys know, Chapter 13, Profit and Plunder, went live. We had some connectivity issues that happened yesterday. There was an error 308 that a bunch of people were getting. The team worked really hard, got the issue resolved last night, so everyone should have no problems being able to jump in.
That's a good technical community concern type thing to discuss.
Tomorrow, and then of course you can just jump into the game update regardless today.
And there was only one other little small thing that could go wrong for some people. Really quick workaround. Information's on the forums.
Yep, all that's on the forums, and it'll be in the wrap-up as well. If you're
Perfect. Perfect.
Yep. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about ranked PvP very briefly. I brought it up in the forums. As you guys may realize, the new season started a few weeks ago. We've had some issues with people playing unfair and not nice, where they've either traded wins with each other or they've been cheating. I just want you guys to know, we've said it in the forums, but we're very aggressively going after those people. We want to make sure that PvP stays fair for everybody. So if you see anybody doing something that's not right, let us know. And again, we're taking a lot of action against those people to make sure that things stay fair in ranked PvP.
Yep.
As well you should.
Yep.
Excellent.
Chapter 13.
Yeah, do you want to talk about some of the stuff you've seen from players since
So that's it?
Yeah, it's
What?
really exciting to, as
That's
always, to see everyone's feedback on the chapter, see how they're enjoying it. Seems like it's been going over really well. We obviously had a tremendously good time writing this chapter. Galt and Vet are obviously some of our favorite characters. They're a ton of fun to write. They play off each other really well. It gives us a lot of cool and fun opportunities to inject a lot more humor than we've done in recent chapters.
I just love seeing all the forum posts that say 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, best chapter so far.
My favorite is the people who have found the chance for your player to make a Wookiee noise. Seeing the voice actors attempt to make Wookiee noises was one of the highest points of my life.
So are those actually individual?
Those are actually the actors playing each player class attempting to make a Wookiee noise.
That's my favorite.
It's pretty special.
That could just be in the story vlog.
Another, it's really a great opportunity to check out some of the harder kinds of fights and mechanics in the game and kind of get a feel for them, against these really cool and crazy bosses.
Yeah, it's been really cool seeing a lot of the feedback that's been coming in, because our goal for this was always, give something that people can go in, have some fun by themselves or with friends, and kind of learn how operation-style mechanics work. And it's been great to see people who, of all different skill levels, coming together.
There's no new operations coming!
Boss, and I just can't seem to get past
You don't need to learn about operations. You obviously don't care about MMO content.
Mechanics is what you have to do. So it's been very cool to see the players of all different skill ranges coming together to get through Eternal Championship, for sure.
Yeah. And of course, alongside Eternal Championship, the opportunity to recruit Bodar, the Wookiee gladiator, who smugglers know and love quite well. He's obviously tied into that storyline in an intimate way. So having a chance to bring him back into the story was a big treat for us, because who doesn't love having a Wookiee to back you up?
That's right. And we see some questions about at what point in the chapter do you get to attempt to make the Wookiee noise? Do you want to let people know where that happens?
So this is spoilers for anyone who hasn't played the chapter. Plug your ears for a second. When you're alongside Galt, you meet a man named Dretcher, who's an identity forger, and he is locked inside a box, Howard Hughes style. And one of the ways you can threaten to get him out is to play a recording of the Wookiee Life Day Choir, singing various traditional Wookiee songs of Life Day. And of course, the player can back up Galt's threat by making their own rendition of some of those classic Wookiee tunes.
That's pretty amazing. Multiple people in chat are asking us to make Wookiee noises. I promise I don't have one.
That's one of those things that would live on the internet forever.
It would just
never undo it.
It would just sound like me yelling. Come back for the marathon stream when I'm about 12 hours in. I'm sure that'll happen. So just wanted to highlight the art, because it's amazing.
Yeah, just that's Galt and Vet in case
Really
people didn't know.
So good. Okay, so this story. This came from Reddit. Someone posted this on Reddit, and I seriously was laughing for a solid like 20 minutes when I saw this, and I forwarded it on to the team. I was like, "You guys have to see this." So, Charles, you want to explain what this is?
Yeah. So again, speaking of Dretcher, he and Galt have kind of a rough past together, and so at the end of the chapter, he emails you his bill for the things that Galt has put him through and the things that you ask of him. And this one, honest, intrepid player tried to send him the money, tried to email him right back. But unfortunately, Dretcher had gone back into hiding or something, and he wasn't able to reach
I
him.
love the detail of it, of like, we're going to send bounty hunters after you, assuming you don't pay it. He's like, please don't send bounty hunters after me. And I trust that with this payment, no one will come looking for my character or my friends in the
So
future.
good.
My favorite part is I've seen many people being like, I'm making a character named Dretcher on every server, just in case someone else does this. It's
Good
pretty
idea. Just write that
So
down.
good.
Note for myself.
Pretty good.
So the other thing that came out, obviously with Profit and Plunder, is the new pack, the Plunderer pack. And so these are 6 of the coolest items we thought that were in the pack, and we thought we'd do another contest as part of the live stream. So the first part of the contest is we want you guys to pick in chat which one of these 6 things you think is the coolest item, and then we're going to give 3 of them away.
Sure.
But let's start by having you guys vote on which one you think is the coolest.
Right,
Just
so-
the names are up there so that you can pick.
And you don't have to do it exact. It's not like we're not judging it by the exact words. So if you think the Vorn Tiger is cool, you can just type Vorn Tiger. We'll be able to figure it out. So let us know in chat what you think. We should probably weigh in on what we think is the coolest, right?
Because let's just remember, I won last
yes, you
time.
did.
Not
Right.
that anyone's keeping score
Listen, Charles
or
and I-
anything.
Ben is the
It's
tastemaker.
irrelevant.
Charles and I have matching shirts this time. I'm confident we can come out ahead. We'll let you start, Ben. I think
What's your
Going
advantage.
on a little
You know
bit too
what?
long
I mean, I
here.
think the chat
Let's
is
go.
Sure.
But I think, I really love the Fallen Defenders armor set because I love the Jedi robes that have a really cool hood to them. And I'm starting picking up my Juggernaut, who was one of my first characters. I kind of want to get this armor set. So I'm going to go with that as my favorite of the 6.
Yeah. It's a tough call for me between the Star Drive and the Load Lifter. Obviously, the Star Drive has folding wings and is a giant spaceship, which gives it a lot
It's a GIF in
to
the
recommend
PowerPoint,
it.
so
And it's
kind
moving
of
right
showing
now.
off right
But
now.
I gotta say, I gotta give my vote to the analog Load Lifter. It's not a thing you would think of as a mount necessarily, but it is in fact a little wheelie thing loaded with gold, or the Star Wars equivalent of gold, or rhodium, and you can make it go up and down.
Rhodium.
Yeah, and so you're just kind of. It's a chance for your player to look a little more mundane. They're just going about their day, just like.
I'm no big deal. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
So I have to go.
What
With
have you got?
I have to go with the Star Drive just because I remember when I saw it the first time was like I was at Dan's desk and he was like, "Hey, come check out the new mount," because he knows I collect mounts and I love them. And he's
Yeah.
like, "Check this out," and it was folded like it is now. And then he hit the flourish, and I literally audibly went, "Oh!" And I said a word that I can't say
I actually
on
took my
stream.
headphones off because I heard
Yeah.
this happen
I
behind
can't
me. It was
repeat
amazing.
the word I said on stream. Anyways, that was my favorite. So, from looking at chat, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like it's a tie between the Vorn Tiger and the Star Drive. So, how about we do
Okay.
this? We're going to do a
Rock,
raffle.
paper, scissors?
We'll do a raffle. How about this? We'll do a raffle.
Okay.
And the 3 winners can let us know which one of the 2 they want. So we'll give them either the
Awesome.
Tiger or the
Great
Star
idea.
Drive.
That's
All right.
Player
we're gonna do-
choice.
So we're gonna do this in honor of Star Wars Day and it
Yes.
being May the 4th. How about we'll do Star Wars? One word, all Star Wars. Type the word Star Wars in chat, all one word, and you'll be entered into the raffle. And then Tate is going to gather all those, and then at the end of the stream, we'll let you know who the 3 winners are, and we'll get in touch with you, and we'll get you either the Star Drive or the Vorn Tiger, whichever one you want.
And
So again,
chat
Star
goes
Wars, one word, type it in chat, and,
crazy.
we'll set up a raffle.
Sweet.
All right?
I love it. The next thing, which I think you're going to talk a little bit about as well.
Yeah, so one of the other things we introduced in the new pack and the Plunderer pack is the lightning weapon tuning. So weapon tuning is a new thing that we're introducing that adds these really cool effects to your weapons.
I love this so much.
Oh, it's
So
so,
cool.
my
It's
God,
so cool.
It's so good. So one of the things you can get, it's actually a type of mod that goes on a bunch of different weapons, and it'll add this lightning visual effect that you can see here. So I know also on the forums and on social, anywhere you want, if there's weapons that are missing weapon tunings that you want to be able to see this cool lightning effect on that don't have it now, let us know.
Yeah.
Because the team's gathering it because we want to get it on more weapons, especially that people want. So, very
Which
cool.
one do you guys
Well,
think is
that's
the coolest?
something.
Like, I can't decide
Good, at
which of my
least.
characters needs to get this first.
You know, it wasn't until I saw these images that I really thought blaster pistols looked
Yeah,
so good
they
with
look
it.
really cool.
I love how it rotates around on the cannon.
Yeah.
Like, Like when he first showed it to me, it was that moment I was like, oh, that's gonna be pretty cool. And then when it actually starts spinning and going around with
but maybe my Sentinel with 2
Trooper
lightsabers
bias.
would be really cool out of it.
Lightsaber, it's always hard to top a lightsaber.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. I just like saw this image and I have nothing to say about it, but I wanted to put it in the deck somewhere because I love the statue and Galt is just too cool and his pose is amazing and the background is amazing. So
this one will make sense.
There's nothing to say, but just let's move along.
Ben loves it.
I just loved it so much. And we wanted to remind you guys, in case you missed the message, there's 50% off collection unlocks right now until next Tuesday. Until Monday at midnight.
Monday midnight, yeah.
Monday midnight. So make sure if you've got new characters and you want to unlock a bunch of stuff, get at it now.
Yep.
Well, it's 50%.
And it is literally everything. This is the only time we've ever done a collection unlocks across everything. We've done like armor sets before, but this is any item.
Yeah.
As a mount collector, I was very excited when I found this out because it was like,
It's a special May the 4th treat.
That's right. All right. So, do you want to intro this a little bit? Because this is really something that you started.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people who contribute in the community to Star Wars Old Republic in really meaningful ways. And one of those ways is doing a lot of really great videos.
Yep.
And, I've been watching a lot of the Academy ones, for example, recently. And we were all talking like, hey, how can we encourage people to do more of this stuff? Because I think it's really valuable, to new players, but also to experienced players, depending on the topic. To have all these videos or guides and all this stuff that the community contributed. So we wanted to try to, each of these streams, pick a couple of things to showcase, just to say thank you to the people who are making them.
Right.
That's gonna be the idea.
I approve.
We're going to take us through the 4 we have today.
Yeah, so we picked out 4 YouTube videos. So we've featured the Academy before. It's some great work that's on Swoterista's channel that Swoterista partners with UtiniCast to do. They did a new one for this month on how the alliance system works, which is really cool. Tor Fashion did a highlight of the new weapon tuning on a whole bunch of different types of weapons. It's like a 12-minute video of just scrolling through different weapons. It's really cool. Volk did a really long guide. It's like an hour and 20 minutes on Baudar and the Eternal Championship. So if you have any questions on how to do any of those things, go watch the video because it will tell you how to do it, I promise. And then Exotalis did a short video, kind of like a review of the chapter. And it had a lot of praise, and we're not just featuring it because it's praiseful, but it highlights some of the really cool things that I think that Charles and the guys put into the chapter.
And I love that it was short. Like it's easy to watch a 4-minute quick summary of it to get me excited to want to play it.
Yep.
So that was cool.
And again, so thank you to everybody who continues to do podcasts, streamers, YouTubers, and just as a note, if any of you do that content and you're not in touch with me, find a way to get in touch with me. Social media, forums, because we'd love to highlight your stuff in future streams.
And make sure you post it to the forums at least.
Absolutely.
Right? That's a great way to make sure we get to see it as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Put it out there.
But yeah, so thank you guys for the great content.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the NVIDIA winners. So we talked in one of the earlier streams about this NVIDIA contest we had going on, and
Correct.
we're really excited to finally announce all the winners. This has been up on the website as of the last week or so. But we just wanted to, in the stream, call out the actual winners. And then I think we're going to view one of the videos.
This could just have been something that was done on the forums. Don't need to really do this in the live stream.
Jonathan Winkler,
when there's
AKA
other things that can be
I'm
discussed.
reading this right. Inga Kuklina, a.k.a. Build Your Alliance. And Daniela Washsmith? Please tell me immediately if I'm wrong. I hate mispronouncing names. I don't want to be that guy. So, a.k.a. Mortal Mandolin.
So just so you know, if you want to watch any of the videos that were either in the top 3 or the other winners that were selected, we have a playlist. I'm going to show you how to get to them right now. So if you go to our YouTube page, you can go to playlists. And right here, you can see where all the videos are. I'm also going to link it in the wrap-up, and you can get to it right from the page. But we're going to take a quick minute, and we're going to watch, I think it's like 2 or 3 minutes.
It's only 2 minutes.
We're gonna watch the second place winner video right now, which their name was...
the one we just played?
Yeah, it was
Inga Kuklina.
There you go. All right,
Yeah,
so
I'm hoping I'm saying it right.
we're going to stop talking for 2 minutes, and I'm going to hide our faces, and you guys can go ahead and watch the video. All right, so we'll be right back.
Yeah, no need, because essentially all this stuff is fucking trailers.
And yet it is unmistakable.
It's basically free advertising, trailers. I mean, come on. Let's see some gameplay or something. Well, you can all watch this on YouTube, so we'll pause here ourselves and be back when this is over.
All right, we're back. Let me get back.
Yeah, just the trailer. That's,
Return
I
faces.
mean, nothing really.
There we go.
Enhance.
Faces have returned. So you brought up a good point, which is you may have
Cut and paste job. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
because we played the first place video
Right.
coincidentally when we were talking about the NVIDIA contest. It was one of the early leaders, I
Right.
suppose, that
Yeah.
we showed early
But
on.
they're really, really cool videos.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really enjoy looking through all of them. So if you get time, definitely go watch the videos. All right.
You can lose yourself in it, though. I lost myself for how long the whole playlist is. I lost that amount of time,
Yep.
unbeknownst to me. Okay, so subscriber rewards. So for those of you who were subscribed last month, in-game you would have already received your HK55 inspired ship droid customizations. So if you haven't got them yet, make sure you check your mailbox and pick them up. And to announce the June subscriber rewards, so if you are subscribed by June 1st, you will get the
No
Eternal
HK
Empire
stuff?
Patrol Speeder.
You've
And
got to be joking.
artwork
Where's
for
the
that concept
HK?
is
It
back.
needs to be
So it's a
at
really
least
cool
make the
speeder.
HK theme for
We're
God's
excited
sakes.
for
I
you
mean,
guys
come
to get
on.
hold of it.
No.
Just make sure you are subscribed by June 1st. Of course, you also get the 2 days early access to Chapter 14, Mandalore the Avenger, and Charles will be talking about what's in that chapter in a second.
Good deal. Shall we? I'm enjoying watching chat talk about HK versus non-HK reward.
Yeah.
All right.
May the 4th.
Yeah, May the 4th.
Oh, there's our
we have
HK
a
reward.
huge promotion
A lot
going
of-
on right now.
a lot
Actually,
of
well, that's
so
that
much
cool
for
thing
people to
reward, I
win
guess I
things,
should
which
say.
is really
right?
cool. You know, we love giving
Yeah.
stuff away to our loyal players.
Yes.
So I think Eric, you're probably just going to take us through it. You know the
Walk you
promotion
through
of
step by
that, so
step. So first and foremost, the link that's on the screen right now, switchword.com/may-the-4th. Anything you want to know about any of this stuff, go to that page. It has all this information, so you can check it all out there. Let's start the journey. First, Chapter 1 free trial. If for some reason you're watching the stream or you have friends who haven't gotten into Fallen Empire yet, you can send them to the link that's on the bottom of the page, and assuming they haven't played Fallen Empire before, they can jump right into Chapter 1. So they get at level 60, and they can jump in through.
And we
the first
all have
chapter.
that friend who doesn't know what
course
they're
we do.
missing out on. And
course
it's
we do.
always hard to convince them to drop a few dollars to
They have
pick up the game.
No excuses.
No excuse. It's
Zero.
free.
Zero. If they can move them out,
There
and
is
click, they can do it.
excuses when you
So,
don't
it's-
like it.
So we had the Astromech. It's a yearly tradition at this point where
Yeah,
every year
yeah,
on May
yeah.
the 4th we have to give away a new Astromech. So and also for anyone who has logged in, we've already started distributing today's Astromech. So if you haven't logged into the game, you probably have it waiting in your mailbox. We also have double XP, which as you can see on the list doubles a lot of things.
Yeah.
Legacy XP, Warzone combinations.
Yeah,
Each
like
rest of
we
the game.
actually need
It's
that.
happening
Seriously?
now through the 10th, and then again the last weekend in May.
Seriously?
So jump in either.
Power
one of those.
leveling
And then
is not fun!
this Saturday, next Saturday, I'm going to be doing a marathon stream where I'm going to play through all 13 chapters of Knights of the Fallen Empire. I'm going to have special guests which will join me. These guys may be included along
Yep.
with some other people.
Yep.
We're going to do crazy giveaways. I'm going to get tired. It's going to be super fun.
I wouldn't miss Crazy Musco time for the world.
It'll be great.
All the Wookiee impersonations.
Yeah,
you can ask
Yes.
for.
all that you can get, all that you can get. I promise. The Eternal Championship solo speedrun contest. So first, you may notice there's an Enter Now button. If you want to participate in the contest, go to the May the 4th page and click that Enter Now. You have to actually enter through the website to be eligible. Here's all it is. You got to pick up the mission, run Eternal Championship as fast as you can, and then turn in the mission. The person who does it the fastest, crazy enough, we are going to fly them and a friend of theirs to Star Wars Celebration in London.
Well, that's
Literally
You
good.
can join us, right? Because we'll
Yeah.
be there as well. So we'll
Absolutely.
hang out with you guys for
Yep.
the...
Yep, if you don't know what Star Wars Celebration is, it's big Star Wars convention.
Literally the
It's-
coolest Star Wars con in the world.
Yep. And of course, if you happen to not get first place, we're going to have some runner-up prizes as well for some subscription time and cartel coins, so definitely go in and give it a shot. The Story So Far contest. We're just giving away prizes, just raining prizes in May. All you have to do for this contest is at any point in May, finish Chapter 13. That's it. So pick any character that's already there if you want to play fresh from 1 through 13, but any character that finishes through Chapter 13, every 5 days, we're going to draw 5 winners, which will win a Zakul Knight armor set and a Zakul dropship mount every 5 days. So keep coming back to the page, and we'll be announcing who those folks are as well throughout the month.
Okay.
Mandalore the Avenger, coming
Let's-
June 1st.
Let's do it.
So this is our next chapter. I'm going to give a little bit of a tease. Hopefully no spoilers or nothing anyone would consider too much of a spoiler. But yeah, this is a chapter I am extremely excited about. I'm a big Mando nerd myself.
No, Shea
it's really exciting
Vizsla.
to see
Well,
what they're
that's
up to,
interesting.
how the times have been for the Mandalorians. Of course, hook back up with.
But again,
Vizsla,
this
who we know
can
from
all
the trailer,
be
as well as
done
Tori
in
and
a
Kadera,
story
well-known bounty hunter
vlog.
companion,
We've
hardcore
got,
Mandalorian
4
warrior.
minutes
We're
here
gonna
to
team up with them
address
and the Mandalorian
community
clans
concerns,
assault
to
a
address
massive enemy
technical
installation
issues, to
and,
address
uncover something
shocking
really
enough
crucial to our effort for the war against Arcanine.
concerns on the wretched freaking hive. Now, sure, at the top of the State of the Galaxy, the very meager State of the Galaxy we had for this live stream, God's sakes, talked about the PvP cheating and stuff like that. And yes, okay, yes, it should be addressed. We're good. At least you mentioned it, but still, that's something that should be just a given. It should be a no-brainer that we're dealing with cheaters and exploiters anywhere in the game, not just PvP, but anywhere, for God's sakes. Take care of the gold farmers and that kind of stuff, which, again, they address that they are, and they're working on that, again. For, what we see actually in the game is no worse and no better than any other game at this point in the time. And again, the biggest game with the biggest number of gold farmers and the biggest issue is, of course, World of Warcraft. So, you won't see any other game that has any more than World of Warcraft. So, this is just the state of the things in the MMO industry at this point in time with gold farming and all that stuff. Get over it. Nobody will ever be able to stop it completely. It's just impossible without making the game overly difficult to play if you are just a regular, ordinary, everyday player. But we can always discuss that again later. But anyway, here we go. Okay, the story live stream. Again, none of this stuff really anything that we need to talk about here in the producer live stream. Let's save the time for stuff that needs to be addressed about the game technically or about the issues we're having on the Wretched Hive. So we'll take a pause here, see if there's anything else that we need to discuss. If not, we'll come back and actually discuss some stuff on the Wretched Hive.
And the very last thing
we'll just go through the wrap-up here anyway.
Quick teaser cinematic from Chapter 14.
Correct. So if you're excited for Chapter 14, you only got about 2 more minutes to hang on, and you'll get there. So again, as always, I guess that's the last bullet. So Chapter 13, Profit and Plunder, is now live.
Yes,
the Eternal
I
Championship
think
is
we're
live,
well
so
aware
if you're
of that.
familiar with it, we've talked about it a few times, but 10 bosses, solo encounter, where you can bring in friends if you want. You can go through it for various sets of prizes. There's some cool mounts that are there, some armor sets. And it's a great way, if you haven't done something like an operation before, to learn some cool new mechanics and kind of challenge yourself to get further and further and ultimately become the Eternal Champion.
And make sure if you do enjoy it and you haven't played some of the other group content in the game that you check it out. I think if you enjoy Eternal Championship, you love playing a lot of the group content we have in the game that you might not have experienced so far.
Yep, absolutely. The Baudar recruitment mission. Charles, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, just exciting chance to get a Wookiee to join you, or if you're a smuggler, team back up with an old friend, and as part of the Eternal Championship.
Yep.
We have the Plunder pack, which came out, which we showed 6 of the items from before earlier as well, along with weapon tuning. So it's a really cool pack. There's a lot of really good items in this pack. And 50% off collections are going on now until Monday at midnight. Call it Tuesday-ish of next week. So anything that you want to unlock in collections, 50% off.
Yep.
The May the 4th promotions.
Very well. That is
Let's
Yeah,
go through them again.
nice
So
little
check out the
perk to
website.
have there.
Swordcard.com/May-the-4th. Go there and you'll just learn all
It's
of
never been easier to win something in the game. So
absolutely.
go check it out and participate.
Absolutely. Chapter 14.
Mandalorian
Charles'
Avenger.
obsessions with the
Love it.
Mandalorians continues.
Indeed. Hopefully my obsession can become yours.
That's right. That's
We've
right.
got Broodmark, and then
And then
We're done.
all of this will be posted in the wrap-up, so if you want to see any of the videos we've talked about, whether it's NVIDIA or some of the great community stuff that's gone on, or you're just tuning in now and you missed something earlier on, all of the stuff will be posted in the forum wrap-up as soon as I get back to my desk. So 5 minutes after the stream ends, it'll all be live on the forums. And as always, thank you guys for
Thanks so much.
giving us feedback. Thank you for joining us on the stream. We'll be back
Sure,
again in
no
June
problem.
for another
Anytime.
June producer live stream. Where I'm sure we'll do more of the same things. We'll give away things.
More cool stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
Do you want to do any lead into the video before we play it?
It's just a quick clip from the new chapter from near the beginning.
Something else that could be saved for the story vlogs, or even just thrown up on the post for the forum, or just on the website, for God's sakes, which it actually is. So.
All right.
All right. Yes. No
Thank you for
need.
joining us.
Tuning in.
Let's go talk about the Wretched Hive.
Thank us for streaming.
Yeah. And I'm gonna.
And we're back. So it is what it is. Producer May live stream. So let's get on with it here. I guess we're just going to start. What we're going to start with here is the wrap up here. Okay. So what do we got here? The May producer live stream. Oh, here's an interesting little tidbit. Let's move this over just a hair here so we can see the full post. There we go. Okay. The chapters are nothing but cutscenes. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Do you really expect people to stay subscribed to this game and pay a monthly fee to play an MMO which gives nothing but cutscenes? Why would anyone do that? Because the story is awesome. I really hope they continue with the chapters. Well, that's twofold. The story ain't that great. The entire concept of Valkorion the Emperor and all that stuff, just absolute garbage. The fact that if you actually go back and watch that second runner-up for the NVIDIA contest and stuff in there, you catch a clip there. It's, you need Valkorion's power. His son is too powerful. What? What? The freaking Emperor consumes the world? He wants to consume the galaxy? Oh, my son is just too strong. I can't be... What? Such asininity here. More plot holes in this freaking story than Swiss cheese, for God's sakes. It's not that good. Sorry. I mean, the chapters 1 through 8, every story has its problems, but, the vanilla class stories, you want good storytelling, that's what you play. Kotfi, not so much. No, sorry. Can't agree there, but the point there that the quoted poster Vander Tulip or whatever his name is brings up. Would you really expect people to stay subscribed to this game and pay monthly fee to play an MMO which gives nothing but cutscenes? Obviously, people will do that. Now, I've always maintained ever since I came here so many years ago at the launch of the game. I always maintained, and especially during the troubled times, before free-to-play and after free-to-play, I've always maintained that as long as I'm having fun in the game, I will maintain the subscriptions to the accounts I have. When it stops being fun, I'll reevaluate that position, and if it's to the point where it's not fun enough to be worth $15 a month for each account that I have. I had 2 of them for the most part. So $30 a month, then I would stop paying the subscription fee. If it was still fun for what I was playing, then I would maintain that subscription fee. So yeah, some people enjoy it enough to pay $15 a month. A little foolish on their part, I think, since once you subscribe, you get all chapters released to that date. So there's really no need to be subscribed for the whole time. Subscribe at the beginning. You just subscribe in October, you get the first 9, and then wait, because you're not really missing all that much. Wait at this point. Wait till the end. Subscribe in October, get your first 9 chapters to play through, and then of course, wait until August to subscribe again. You get the rest of the chapters. $30. You get all 16 chapters, all 20 hours worth of gameplay for $30, which is basically what 20 hours of gameplay is worth nowadays. The rest of the stuff, all that stuff, it's just basically completely unnecessary, the rewards and all that stuff. But anyway, the chapters are nice. As we mentioned, some are strong, some are weak. I mean, overall, the story is much, much weaker. Not that really compelling. Plus, all the other nonsense that they pulled in Kotfi is just, not worth the money or the hassle. But sorry, why get another fur after the Wookiee and Eltaz? My opinion that there are 2 companions I don't know how they carry. It would be nice if we had a chance to decline getting the real chance to do. Well, that's because, they're paying the voice acting. which I think he actually mentions here. That's coincidence that Bodar, Blizz, Sudochem, and now Brookmar have all been recruitment missions. They are all characters that Bioware doesn't need to record new voice actor dialogue to include, so I suspect that helped keep the cost down a bit. Indeed. Uh-oh, we have a problem. Let's see what else. I personally find the live stream industry, but I'm also not expecting any big reveals while we're in the middle of an ongoing expansion. Yeah, we don't need big reveals for the story because you know what? That can be saved for the story live streams, or I should say story vlogs and blogs on the forums. Again, we don't need anything story related in the producer's live stream unless we're getting into the nitty gritty of things. So that's just a waste of time in the producer's live streams. So I appreciate the info concerning upcoming companions, sub-rewards, specials, etc. Yes, it's nice, quick things that are altogether far too long drawn out in the producer's live stream. Sub-rewards, that's about 30 seconds worth of information for the live stream. That's all we needed for specials. Probably depending on what it is, maybe a minute, 2 minutes, if for the May the 4th stuff. But otherwise, another 30 seconds of information that we could have in the producer's live stream. Anything else can just be a friggin' post in the forums. So, well, let's see. It's past time. Yeah, here we go. I personally find the live stream is iOS preview. Thanks, Eric. Okay, here we go. Gabagool. Here's a post I wanted to highlight. It's well past time that you could start discussing their post-season 1 plans. Yes, indeed. Most games engage their player base with a producer roadmap once a year or so. And as a matter of fact, as I believe I mentioned either last episode or last episode beforehand, both Vanguard Saga of Heroes and Wizardry Online had pseudo-producer roadmaps just a mere week or two before the games were announced to be shut down. They had their producer roadmaps. They had their game plans for the future of those games before those futures were cut tragically short. So yes, it is well past time to get some long-term plans given to the player base here. Ben could have chosen to respond to a couple of valid concerns that were recurring themes in his open letter thread. He chose to stay silent. Yes, they have not addressed anything yet, except for as we saw in the live stream, the PvP cheating, which has been a concern from start to finish of not only this MMO, but every damn MMO in existence. Yes? Eat your breakfast. Anyway. Do you really need a review of the NVIDIA contest winners? I think I've mentioned this. There has already been a sticky. Yes, we don't really need... That was information that was completely unnecessary in the live stream. If you wanted to give a shout out in the live stream, fine. Give a shout out. 30 seconds worth of time there. That's all we needed. They state, I think it's a bullet point on the slide, they will talk about community concerns, yet they pick safe minutia to discuss. The community concerns seem to be on 3 things yesterday in chat. None were touched, indeed, and there have been many more concerns throughout the Wretched Hive, which is, of course, one of the reasons why we do the Wretched Hive recap, is to keep addressing these concerns, to keep commenting on these concerns. Look how hard it would have been to have looked at that stream chat yesterday and say the following. I see a lot of people talking about character transfer costs and server mergers. I can promise you, we are watching this very closely. We may choose to take some action in the future, but as of today, we aren't planning on doing anything to either the server or the transfer costs. But we are watching, and we do care. Jesus. I mean, right? Gabagool? You know what? If Bioware's hiring, you need to apply, because my God, just that little blurb there is very good PR speak. I mean, my God, you're a better writer than it seems some of the writers for these chapters. I mean, perfect. There you go. Communication. I mean, it's still softball, but hey. At least you address the concern in some manner. Full disclosure, okay, he's not on the trouble, sir, etc., etc., etc. We know you're reading chat. We know you're seeing it. It comes off. Oh, yes, okay, so Yes, so this is Gabble addressing the developers. Now, we know you're reading chat, and we know they are. We know you're seeing it. We know they are. It comes off as you don't have the stomach to tackle it. No matter how hard you tried to pretend otherwise, you guys did drop a few $100 million making MMO. If you wanted this to be a single-player game, you should have made one. I wholeheartedly agree with that. What you're doing now is not communication typical of an MMO. You're making commercials or recaps or something. Yes, indeed, indeed. And that's pretty much exactly what the NVIDIA contest videos are. They are simply a cheap way for BioWare to get trailers for the game. Nothing really compelling about any of them. I mean, it's quite simple to make. I've made similar stuff just for my own pleasure, my own things all the time. It's not that difficult to do. Not really anything compelling about it. You are not using this format to provide useful information to your player base or addressing current concerns. The producer of this game is steering it into a direction that is alienating a chunk of your player base and flat out driven many off. You guys feel this is a smart business. I get it. You have metrics. None of us do so. Okay, we understand that. But again, as we keep harping on this metric system, metrics are sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy unless you understand the motivations behind those metrics. At this point, it's very difficult to get a grasp on whether BioWare actually understands those metrics, as we continually point out. Let's take the PvE space game, because that was a bit of a concern that has not yet been addressed. Obviously, their metrics are going to say hardly anybody plays the PvE space game. So, if you use those straight metrics saying, okay, nobody plays the PvE space game, we do not need to spend time working on it. Well, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Perhaps more people would play the PvE space game if more development time was actually given to the PvE space game. If it was actually worth playing for a while instead of having been nerfed several years ago to make it to where it is not farmable. Let me do this. It doesn't have to be farmable at the point where you're just playing it to get credits, but there are other things that you can farm in this game for credits. Farming is a part of an MMO. Therefore, players will do it. Therefore, some players find it enjoyable. I do find certain types of farming enjoyable. So let's make sure that every aspect of the game has something that could be farmable to some extent. No one aspect should be better than the other for farm. That's where the issues come in, and that's where nerfs and things like that are necessary to make sure everything stays in line. You don't want everybody playing one certain aspect of it because it's easier to make credits through that certain aspect or not, or get gear or whatever it is. Each certain aspect, each feature of the game should be on par with every other one in terms of gaining credits through it, through repeatable content or gear or what have you. Well, the PvE space game should be a part of that. We should be able to play PvE space game and earn something from it. Minimum amount of credits. Of course, the commendations to be able to acquire, specialized gear and that kind of stuff. Well, that was nerfed so long ago to where it's not really viable. You're actually losing money when you want to play, an aspect of the game you actually might enjoy. So, of course, nobody's going to play it unless you really, really enjoy it. And if you do that, you do it like me, where you just play it for the daily mission, the weekly mission, or whatever, and that's it. I would love to be able to play more of the space game, but it's just not worth it. I actually am one of those who enjoy the space game, but it is not worth it. So why am I not playing it? Why do the metrics say I'm not playing it? It's because it is not worth it. And that is the understanding behind the metrics. You have to understand the reasoning behind things. And I really don't think BioWare has a complete understanding of the reasonings why their metrics are showing them what they are. And that is a problem. That is a problem. Anyway, so yes, we were right there. Perhaps it may. Perhaps it is. But people who have been here for a long time have reasonable questions about the future. Indeed, quite reasonable. But if you are that confident in what you're doing, you should welcome the opportunity to address concerns. You don't, though. You ask us to trust you. Trust only goes so far. I could actually do that if you spent 1 minute saying, hey, I know there are many of you that are wondering what the future of group content. I understand. And then either A, it's like a choose your own adventure here. Choices do matter. We plan to release new operations sometime in 2017. At least currently, that's our plan. Or B, we have no plans to release new operations sometime in 2017. Why is that question we cannot get an answer to? And Vander Tulip comes on and actually answers that. They don't answer because they don't answer because they don't have an answer that people are going to like. Instead of coming out and saying that they will not be making any more operations and having the long-time core players that are still left all unsubscribe. Yes, indeed, they would much rather let those players think that down the line there will be new group content. Let them continue to pay their sub, knowing full well they will not be making any new content targeted for those players. Believe me, if they had any plans or news or operations, they'd be saying so. Total lack of honesty from the communications we through all four. And there's evidence of that. Spineless cowards that would gladly mislead you, take your money, rather than give you honest news that might make you unsubscribe. And yes, we did see signs of that even before Kotfi. There was some critical information that we should have had that we could have had and should have had prior to Kotfi, but we didn't get it. Why? Because they knew it would piss off a lot of people, and as a result, those people would unsubscribe. And of course, they were gearing all this time for of course, anything they do. Is geared towards a certain time frames within the calendar year and fiscal year of EA. So of course they couldn't do that because it would affect certain things within that time period. So you can see all this is calculated. This information and the stuff they do is carefully calculated to make sure that they meet certain expectations within certain time frames. So yes, it's ultimately it all comes down to being a money grab, which again I've said this in countless forums across the internet. It's developers do deserve to be paid for the work they put out, but there's a fine line between making yourself appear to be a cash grabber as a developer and just doing something that you're supposed to be doing and making money off of it. Right now, again, we've discussed this throughout the Wretched Hive series. BioWare is giving off the appearance of being a cash grabber because of how they're doing things, because of how they're handling things. It's that appearance that is the stickler point. Whether you are or not is immaterial. It's what you are presenting to your customer base is the problem. So you need to change that image. You need to, even if nothing else changes, at least to change the image that you are not cash grabbing. Unfortunately, you have the image that you're cash grabbing because that's the way you're doing things. It's just the image you're presenting because you're just because the way you're doing things. Change the way you were doing things. Change the image. Change the world. Anyway. I don't even watch them anymore for live stream wise. I read the rep on Dolphy sometimes, but it never feels like I'm missing anything. And indeed, I don't think we really got anything compelling or informational or what have you in this May live stream. Forget. Eric speaks baby. I really don't care. They've done a great job, but yeah, most of that they are focusing more on the story. Yes, which is good. The story needed focus, as did PvP needed to focus in the game. So we've gotten those updates. PvP still a little bit weaker. Story, yeah, we got story. It's weak. It's not compelling to play through. It's certainly not repeatable story, and all the other stuff that came along with it is just garbage to one extent or another, which basically just ruins the thought of, let me go do the story. No, because then I have to deal with all this other stuff, all the other nonsense, the alliance grind and all that shit. It's like, no, it's just too much of a hassle for what we get. It's not worth it. So, no, yeah, good. You like the story. I get it. You know what? It sucks to a great many other people. So, you know what? That needs to change. So, they need to focus on other things as well. Yeah. So there we go. We have it with that. So yes, that's pretty much our comments on the wrap up there. So it's very little discussed in the live stream in terms of community concerns. So let me do this because there is one specific post here on the Save SWOTOR plan. Now, what is the Save SWOTOR plan? So where are we? Page 4, because that's where the post is. Okay, here's the Save SWOTOR plan by Ambra Motz. 4-step plan. Release NIM versions of those ops. Release 2 new sets of levels or 2 more modes for Eternal Championship on par with that. Release new ops between COTV Seasons 1 and 2. Different tree specs for PvP and PvE. Let's face it, balancing PvP and PvE has proven to be difficult to manage up to this point. And that can be said to any other game. So, I mean, Guild Wars, a good example of being able to separate PvP and PvE. They learned the lesson that, you know what, 2 very different gameplay aspects, 2 very different modes of gameplay, and it's, you can't. I mean, ultimately, you cannot balance them together. Something that would be a good balance for PvE would be a horrible balance for PvP and vice versa. So ultimately, you have to separate the 2. Guild Wars did it by making skills do different things. Basically, they call it the split skill system. You would have one single skill, and it would function completely differently if you're playing PvE as opposed to playing PvP. And that's essentially how they, balance is still not great, but it made sense for what they were doing and made sense for the game. So if a skill was overpowered in PvP, they could balance that skill, nerf that skill, do what they needed the skill to bring it more in line for what it needed, and it would be completely unaffected in PvE, and that's what we need. That's what this is just not a SWOTOR thing, this is an MMO thing. More MMO developers need to realize this aspect. They're a different thing. These are apples and these are oranges. So you need to have things that work good with apples and things that work good with oranges in order to make them the best that they possibly can be. You cannot try to combine them. It just doesn't work that well. But anyway. Page 4, please. Oh, Andrea's back. Why? I don't know. Okay, so where are we here? Emergent, Texas, Salia. Here we go, Salia. Okay. Okay, so he quoted Gab in another post here. Kind of I see here that there is a very much an audience for operations content, and there is. Now, again, I've said in the past, I think this game would have been perfectly well if PvP had been completely left out of it and was a purely PvE MMO. I think the game would have done just well, and as a matter of fact, it probably would have been better off in the long run if there was absolutely no PvP whatsoever. But, that being said, there is a certain importance, and I believe I've mentioned this before, there's a certain importance to these niche aspects of the MMO genre, which is endgame rating and PvP. If you're going to build your game with these aspects, these niche aspects of the MMO genre included from the ground up, then you need to make sure they are maintained and given a certain amount of focus on throughout the entire lifetime of the game. So since SWOTOR does have ratings, since SWOTOR does have PvP, they need to be a continual focus of development. Doesn't have to be as big as the core element of the game, which is the storyline, the storytelling. But they need to have continual, regular focus and content added to them throughout a calendar year. Now, of course, this is why I say, if SWTOR was developed from the ground up without PvP, it would have been better off, because that's more development time towards the core elements. That's more development time that could be given to story, that could be given to end game rating. But since PvP is an aspect of SWTOR, it was an aspect from the ground up, it needs to be focused on regularly and continually, as does operations. Now, throughout the game's lifespan, and most especially in the last several years, it's already been several years, the last couple of years, I should say, we have seen a disparity on the focus of stuff. The story was completely negated after the end of Chapter 3. We got story bits through some of the expansions and some of the operations that were released, but nothing that was meaty or a spiritual successor, I could say, to the vanilla storylines. Now, Kotfi attempts to do that, but it's still very much lacking in that. In all reality, the Kotfi storyline is no better than the storyline we've gotten in any of the other expansions at this point. So, and as a result, we've got no development on operations. I mean, we had the update to operations in 4.0, which, was a good thing. But again, some of the updates and some of the changes they made, not good in one aspect is that they were there. Bad that we have no choices. Choices matter? Well, we have no choices on how to play this game anymore. That's bad. Choices matter when we are able to make choices that do matter. We don't have a choice on how to play this game anymore. We are friggin' power leveled through the best part of the freaking game. That makes no freaking sense. Come on. We need an option to not be power leveled through the best part of the freaking game. As I keep mentioning. But deep breath. But otherwise, there's been no new content for operations, as much as there have been no new content up until the most recent past for PvP. And it was like that in the previous couple of years. Why we were getting some updates to operations, we were getting some updates to PvP. The story was completely, well, not completely, but neglected to the fact of where it was not really very good for the long term for the people here playing for story. What we got was an interior designer update, essentially. We got a, space PvP update, which even some PvPers just don't enjoy. We got another Hutball map. Big deal. Again, as I've mentioned before, Hutball, great concept. Not everyone friggin' likes it. But anyway, let's get back on with this. You've got to have balance, is what I'm trying to get at, essentially, in your development time. You've got to show continual, regular updates to every core aspect of your game. BioWare's not doing that. That's a problem. Ultimately, that's a problem. You've got to be able to show that regular development time for every core aspect of your game. Right now, that hasn't happened for a few years now. A couple of years now, basically a few years at this point. Okay, as the world reaching, as BioWare simply chased the chunk of people away, sorry, no game can keep up with the hardcore grab, but I think it's too easy to generalize anyway, etc., etc. They're playing, now they're playing, I don't know about FFIV. That's not really doing that well either. Doing a lot better than it was initially in 1.0, but still, it's the honeymoon is over for FFIV, XIV, or whatever it is. Or maybe he is actually talking about Final Fantasy IV. Who knows? Anyway, well, Sally's post. That's the key thing I wanted to discuss here. Well, the thing is that it's hard to say in retrospect what happened exactly. I will instantly agree that BioWare have handled things poorly at various key moments. Yes, I think everyone should be able to agree on that. Some things have been handled poorly. Again, I will continually say this. Developers are human. They will make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Square Enix made a hell of a mistake with FFXIV or VI or whatever the heck it was. They corrected said mistake. They admitted their mistake. So to think that developers are flawless, perfect, and cannot make mistakes, you are a complete freaking moron. They make mistakes. We've been talking about some of Bioware's mistakes with 4.0. You may like them, but that does not mean they are not a mistake. Funneling everybody into power leveling through the best part of the game. Mistake. Big mistake. Not allowing people the choice of how they want to play their flashpoints and operations, whether vanilla style or new, let's just call it what it is. I can't think of the name because I hate it so much. But through the style to where it's leveled up to you. Level syncing, yes. Brain fade there. I'm getting senile. But yes, not having the choice to play vanilla, unsynced, or synced is a mistake. It's a problem. Whether you like it or not, it is a problem. It is a mistake. They made a mistake. They're human. They make mistakes. The problem is now they are not correcting said mistakes. All right. At the same time, I don't think that's the whole story. We have to take into consideration that a game like WoW is unique in its genre because, yes, obviously, WoW, it's been said, even Blizzard said they would not be able to repeat the success of WoW. It was the perfect storm of being the right game at the right time in the right place. Nobody is ever going to repeat WoW's success. Don't try to. My feeling is that, yes, BioWare have chased a lot of their Raider community away, but I also think that they are not counting on all of these people coming back even if they brought more raid content. It's a gamble they or EA are unwilling to take because it does take faith and a big investment. Not exactly things that rate high on EA's agenda. Yes, we can absolutely agree on that. I bring up why I think it's that no other MMO has been able to hold on to a solid raid community for that long. Other MMOs that have come along either don't have raids and or have kept many players that raid in their games either. So this is why I believe that raid content is not the most profitable thing to do in an MMO, and even though BioWare may have sped up the process, I believe the game was losing rares already from the first month after the release. Yes, indeed. Yeah, again, raiding, PvP, these are niche elements to the MMO genre, to an MMO game. But they are important. And no, they are not as important now because, let's face it, the paradigm shift of going free to play in the genre has changed a lot of the aspects of the genre. It's been a paradigm shift. MMOs back in the day charged subs. That was your only option. So, what did you need to do to keep people playing month in and month out and thusly paying that sub? Well, you needed raid content. You needed PvP content. You needed that dynamic, repeatable, challenging content that would keep people coming back and playing again and again and again. The gear treadmill, the gear grind. That's what kept people playing. It's what kept people paying. It was how MMOs made money. Now, with cash shops and the free-to-play option, not so much anymore. You don't really need to keep people playing month to month to month because they are no longer paying that monthly fee. Of course, now we have the hybrids, of course, that offer that. But you don't actually need to have the grind content to keep people paying for that premium option. You need ultimately to make it fun. You need to make the experience fun. As we have seen, games that make the experience fun will have people pay money in the cash shop for cosmetic stuff. This is how the whole free-to-play concept got started. It's like, and this is why it is so profitable. Cash shops are so profitable. Even WoW has learned that. Still being a subscription-based game. They have the free option to 20, but it's basically a trial to 20. But this is the key concept here. Raids aren't as important. PvP isn't as important, generally speaking, in the MMO genre anymore because their reason for existing essentially no longer exists. So what makes an MMO profitable now It's having a good gameplay experience that is compelling enough for people to want to pay money for stuff in a cash shop. Being power leveled through the best part of your game is not conducive to that ideal. You want people to enjoy the best part of your game. You want them to have a great experience with that game, with that part of the game. If they have a great experience with that part of the game, they're going to be more compelled to spend money on your game. Being powered level through that, not very conducive to that concept. Okay, for sub MMOs March 2016 SWO Tours number 3, yes, ever since going free to play, SWO Tour has been one of the top money makers in subscription, so it's good. We do have some longevity there, but overall, as we said this last time, SWO Tour will only receive support so long as it is meeting expectations. The minute it does not meet expectations, you can kiss it goodbye. Kiss it goodbye. So we need to make sure players have options for playing the game. Not all players want to be funneled into power leveling through the best part of the game. Options. So maybe SWO Tour is doing alright overall. Some people are overstaying their importance to the game community. Yes, that is nothing new there. Who knows, but it's very much possible. The OP clearly isn't saying save SWO Tour, but change SWO Tour to fit my personal needs. Of course, that's what everybody says when they post on. This is the key to posting on forums. It is everybody's personal opinion based on what they like most in playing a game. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, which is fine. But then say what is really bad, because I bet that he doesn't give a rat's ass about all those solo players that keep the game alive. And so I don't know about that aspect of it. Sure, they're doing it now. They certainly did not do that at the outset of the game. So actually doing what he wants, because ultimately, if it was the solo players. Ultimately, if it was the solo players playing here for story, that was the meat and bones of the game's profitability, we never would have had to go free to play to begin with. So obviously, these other niche aspects of our community all add up to make one comprehensive whole, which is why they are important, since the game was built from the ground up with them. Every aspect is important now. Every aspect is important to keep the game alive and healthy. And you can see the game has been there's no doubt the game hit a high point after free to play. With number of people logging in, number of people spending money in this game, number of people subscribing to the premium option. It has certainly declined. If anyone tries to deny the fact that it has declined since the early time after going free to play, you're a freaking idiot. You are a freaking fracking moron if you think this game is still at its peak. It is not. It has declined. No, I'm not going to give you proof. I'm not going to do your homework for you. It is quite obvious. Quite obvious. Am I saying the game is dying? No, I'm not. The game is not yet dying. Certainly not. The game is still doing well. It is not doing as good as it should or could be. That's the problem. That's affecting the longevity of the game, which is what I'm talking about, which is what I'm concerned about. So you need to focus on all of these core aspects of the game. You need to give the players options so more players will have an enjoyable time playing this game and want to spend money on the game. But enough said about that, as I keep repeating myself on this. Let's get to the next post here, because time is running short. We want to get on with it here. So, weapons tunings. Okay, yes, weapons tunings. Great concept. Poor implementation. Once again, the only cool thing in the new packs have an abysmal drop rate. Several guildies have brought hyper crates and bought hyper crates. Didn't get a single one. Guy who only got one. But if you're going to promote things like these weapon tunes, you actually have to make it so they're available to players, not people with 30 mils sitting to burn on cosmetic stuff. Please fix this. Now, this is something that should have been addressed in the live stream. Fortunately, it does get addressed here in the forums. So kudos to finally addressing this point. This is something that should have been brought up in the live stream, but we had too much time wasted on other stuff that was not very important in the live stream. Stuff that should have taken 30 seconds to address in the live stream ran on and on and on. So, you know what? Let's knock off some of the nonsense. Let's start addressing some of these concerns in the live stream in the State of the Galaxy. So Eric Musco comes on. I want to stop at this. Just one of the questions. Please keep the feedback coming. Yes, good. Yes, indeed, keep it coming. Things like drop rates, adding tunes collections, use actively looking at all your feedback and considering what future changes, if any, need to occur. Perfect statement. Perfect. Thank you, Eric. Good statement. Here are a few things, common questions we've seen. Is a weapon tune more rare than other rare items? It is not more rare. But as a result of this, they are looking at designating extra rarity, which is good. Good idea. Well, only going to drop from cartel market. Although we introduced the system through the cartel market, there are plans moving forward to have weapon tunings that are not a part of the cartel market. That being said, future packs will likely contain them as well, which is perfectly well and fine. My favorite item does have weapon tunings. They did address this in the live stream, yes, in fact. They're going to add those, which is good. But here, this is the key point. Although we introduced the system through the cartel market, there are plans moving forward to have weapon tunings that are not a part of the cartel market. Now, whether this was part of the original plan with these, or if this was a result of the feedback that they have gotten in the forums of that, we don't know. So it could very well be that plans moving forward are now going to include them being available outside of the cartel market precisely because people have been complaining about it. But the problem here arises that this is a good concept with a poor implementation. It would have been a good implementation if you had implemented this with all available acquisition to begin with them already available through collections. Again, this feels like a freaking rush job. This feels like, my God, what can we do to get people to throw more money at this game? Oh, yes, weapon tune. Let's get weapon tunes out there. What do we do? Cartel market. Boom. Okay, it's out there. Woo, thank goodness. No, very poorly planned here. Very poorly planned. Should have saved weapons tuning until they were actually ready to implement. Which means availability in cartel market, availability to be unlocked in collections, and availability elsewhere outside of cartel market, preferably through gameplay. Three things right there. Those three things needed to be in place before weapon tunings were released. We only got one of them. We only got one. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Well, 1 out of 3 kind of sucks. And hence, why we have people aggravated. Why we have a discontent player base. We want a happy player base in this game. A happy player base willingly pays a lot of money. A discontented player base does not. Let's go. Plan these things out better. Come on, seriously. This was a no-brainer. No-brainer. The fact that they're not unlockable in collections, that is just mind-boggling to me. Every single thing in this game at this point, once collections was implemented, there is absolutely no reason to have anything not unlockable in collections, even a world drop. There's a certain speeder out there. That's a drop in the world. There's no reason not to have that unlockable in collections now. I'd like to have that speeder for all my characters, just because, it's a cool little thing to have. Make it unlockable in collections, for God's sakes. Make use of the freaking collection system. Come on. Next up, petitions, server transfers. This is the biggie here. This is the biggie that was completely ignored in the live stream. This should have been addressed. This should have been given some significant time in the live stream. So this is Ula the 7th or Ula V's post here. So petition, server transfers. It's still on the first page because it is still a hot button topic. So I'm not going to read through the whole post, but basically, yeah. We have dead servers. There is no doubt about that. We have, well, let me do this. Dead servers. Hyperbolically speaking. But if you're coming here to play an MMO, actually, I should have launched the game here because I did want to highlight the changes to the. In fact, let me do this. Let me stop here. Let me load up the game because I do want to show something. Just as a quick change here. Okay, we're back here, and we're loading this puppy, doing it for a good purpose. Let's get this with quick. So, let's we got here. So what do we got here?
Yeah, World of Warcraft. This type. So when a the game and they want to choose the conservative, they have on making an educated decision. They should. What's we got here? Here we have Stronghold Kingdoms. Now this is not quite as obvious, but you click the little question mark, it only means information bar. What do we got here? What do we got? Day since world start, game type. How's the active players? Look at that. Another one here. Active players. Look at that. Gives you information on what world you might be interested playing. It gives you a good, helpful decision. What we got here? We have ourselves Rift. Now here you can see, again, the type. Again, now for SWOTOR, that is irrelevant at this point. But as you can see, most MMOs you're going to have these. So so when we show SWOTOR, if I can ever get SWOTOR to load up, we'll see some differences. Here, of course, we see service status, we see the language, but we don't see anything else. Oh, what's this? Recommended. Okay, so we don't have actual server populations anywhere here, but we do have, if you want a good, healthy MMO experience, these are the recommended servers to join. Very interesting. Very interesting. So let's see. Do I have SWOTOR available yet? I don't think we have SWOTOR available yet, do we? Boom. We don't need that. Thank you. We don't need that. Thank you. We have a cranky child. Oh, there we go. SWOTORs are coming. SWOTORs are coming. So yes, we have our interesting splash screen. Now I also wanted to load up ArchAge, but of course, having all this stuff running at once is slowing us down a bit. So, and this episode has already gone on long enough. Yes, we're loading. We're loading. Okay, here we go. Now we have SWOTOR. Pretty much bare information at all possible. Now again, the PvE, PvP stuff is inconsequential now because of the instancing. But again, if you're a typical MMO player, you're coming to SWOTOR the first time, this is going to be, what the heck is this? I got West Coast, I got East Coast. What? I don't know what to do. If I'm looking for a good, healthy population for an MMO server on the PvE server or PvP server, I have no information here telling me what to pick. If I'm a person looking for a low pop server because I'm just interested in solo playing a storyline, I have no information to go by here. Except, am I on the East Coast or am I on the West Coast? Now, of course, you could say, well, just go to the website. That gives you the information you're looking for. But now I forget the exact percentage, but it's upwards of like 80 to 90% of a game's player base doesn't visit the forums. Never visits the forums. Rarely, if ever, visits the website. A vast majority of a person playing a game does not go to there. So where are they getting their information from? The login screen. No information there. Not telling you. Now again, not every game has the information, but we even see with Rift, doesn't give you population, but it says, hey, here you go. These are the 2 recommended servers that if you want good MMO experience, pick these. We get nothing here. That's a problem. So, yes, server transfers. Yes. So, yes, we obviously have dead servers. We have an issue with being able to move guilds to a good server that they may want to go to because there's things like guild ships that don't transfer over. I mean, seriously. That's a problem that we can't get this stuff to transfer servers at this point in time. You've got to be able to get guilds and the stuff they own to transfer. I mean, that's just a no-brainer there. It's got to be done. So, we do have at least Ben coming in to acknowledge the thread. Thank you for that, Ben. Thank you. To be honest, I haven't read all 34 pages of this thread, which is okay. But if we reduced transfer prices for a week, would that allow you all enough time to organize your guilds to transfer to the place that makes the most sense for your guild? Hey, good idea. But you're not there. Again, what, Ben, why haven't these people transferred already? How many months? It was almost a full year. We had 90 CC cost for transfer. So that's kind of cheap when you're accounting for the cost of server transfers, generally speaking. So that begs again the question. Here we go, an overarching theme of metrics and understanding the reasoning behind them. Okay, we had cheap transfers forever and a day. Why have these people not yet transferred? They plenty of opportunity to transfer to a good server. Why haven't they done it yet? Obviously, it's not the cost. So what possibly could be making these people not yet transfer? Not transfer when the cost was astronomically cheap. This here gets to the core root of the issues we've been talking about. Let's get some understanding here of why these things happen or do not happen. Let's start working towards a solution to those problems so these things can happen and keep the player base happy. And we'll end it with that because, my God, this episode has gone on forever and forever, as you can hear. In the background, we have a cranky apprentice. Baby Oblivious is not happy. So, with that being said, this is Doth Oblivious saying, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking out this extraordinarily long episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, I will see you in game and on the forums.